episode 52 of the We Were Athletes Once podcast. My name is Kyle, and I am joined by Cody.
What's up, everybody?
And a little peek behind the curtain, because we love giving those. We've already recorded this episode, and the file corrupted. So we're re-recording it, and we're not happy about it. So
No, we're not.
we were very opinionated when we first recorded this episode, which was originally supposed to be 51. And we're going to be slightly less opinionated because it is 10:30 on a Thursday night.
And
But
I'm
Cody,
tired.
in the past 2 weeks, the entire offseason happened. Every single move that we've been waiting on happened in a short period of time, like we knew it was going to happen. And it's making us talk about everything in one episode. So what are your thoughts about that?
If you would have asked me, 2-3 days ago when we recorded this, I would have said maybe this leads to a complete floodgate opening, but it has opened. Anything and everything has just been coming all at once. There's still a few moves that we think are going to happen that we're waiting for, and a couple semi-big names left, but for the most part, this is what we wanted to happen, and we're finally getting to see it. So it's been a fun 3 or 4 days.
I don't know if it's necessarily everything we'd love to happen because I would have loved it to be spread out over the off season. But here we are.
That's fair.
So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, we have the entire off season basically to talk about. We're gonna try and do things as best we can in the order that they happen, but we're gonna bounce around a little bit because some teams made multiple moves, and we're gonna start with one of those teams, Miami Marlins. Now the Miami Marlins, we knew were going to be making some trades. There were reports that they were in deep talks about trading with the Yankees involving Edward Cabrera. Well, Edward Cabrera did get traded, but he did not get traded to the Yankees. He got traded to the Chicago Cubs. And in that trade, the Marlins get back Owen Casey, who was the Cubs' top prospect. He is now the number 3 prospect in the Marlins system, as well as an infielder named Christian Hernandez, who was 11th in the Cubs system. He is now 12th in the Marlins system, and an unranked prospect named Edgardo de Leon. So, Cody, what are your thoughts about this trade?
Yeah, I think I'm higher on Edward Cabrera than you, but I like this trade for both teams. I think the Cubs get a front of the rotation guy, maybe not an ace, but he's one of those guys that is going to be in the top of your rotation, and I think he plays well for the playoffs, which is really what the Cubs want. This is a guy that can make one of those first 2 starts in the playoffs because he has the swing and miss stuff. He's got some. It's not just swing and miss; it's electric. He's throwing upper 90s, touching 100 with his fastball, kind of power sinker ish. At the same time, he's got a nasty slider, a really good changeup. So he's got all this stuff. And his biggest concerns are the innings. He hasn't put a ton of innings yet. But if he can get those innings up this year, I think his stuff plays extremely well. But I do like it from the Marlins side because the Marlins picked a guy that they wanted and said, hey, this is the headliner. We're going for the quality here. And they went out and got Owen Casey, who I think is going to start for them this year, and he's going to be an excellent outfielder. I like what he brings to the plate. He's a solid defender, but he's going to give them some young stability in that outfield to start building what this roster is going to look like in the future.
Yeah, and you kind of teased how I feel about the trade a little bit because a lot of people were projecting Edward Cabrera, even going into this offseason, as like a difference maker for a big league rotation. And I don't know if I necessarily feel that way. I think Edward Cabrera has always, had really good stuff, but it's never really panned out in terms of the results. And, Edward Cabrera is going into his age 28 season. You can only really rely on projectability for a guy for so long. I mean, he's been good. He has a roughly a 4 ERA, a 4.07 ERA throughout his big league career. Last year was the best year of his career. He had a 3.53. But he only threw 137 and two thirds innings last year, and that was his career high. It was the first season of his big league career that he threw more than 100 innings. So, the I think the saving grace for me for this move is that he is not being traded to be the guy for the Cubs. He is going to be the 2 or the 3 in that rotation because, they're getting Justin Steele back this year. They, have why am I blanking on
Which one do you want?
Shota?
Shota Imanaga.
Yeah, they still have Shota, so
Cade
Justin Steele is
Horton.
going to be that. Yeah, they have Cade Horton coming up. They still have Jamison Tyon. They have a decent group of guys to where you don't necessarily have to rely on Edward Cabrera to be that guy. I don't know if I necessarily love the fact that they traded their top prospect for him either. But if you look at beyond Owen Casey, they didn't really trade all that much. I mean, Christian Hernandez is, I believe, 22-year-old middle infielder at this point who's in high A. Yeah, 22 years old, high A. He's a very light hitting middle infielder, but he's also 6'2", 175. So you're kind of at the point to where you're deciding with him, like, are you going to bulk him up and get him up to 200 and maybe look to him being maybe a shortstop, but also maybe moving him to third?
I was gonna say
Is he
third.
going to just keep being a light hitting shortstop for his whole career that's going to focus on being a defensive guy? And then, Edgardo De Leon isn't even in the Marlins top 30 prospects. So I can live with this trade, but I don't know if I love necessarily trading your top prospect for this guy. And again, I think another big saving grace is the fact that it kind of seems like the Cubs don't really need Owen Casey this year because let me pull up their depth chart real quick. That was the one thing that I forgot to pull up. They have Ian Happ, Pete Crow Armstrong, Seiya Suzuki in the outfield. You're looking like Moises Ballesteros is going to be your DH. And you also have guys like Tyler Austin, who you just signed from overseas. You have Matt Shaw, who you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with him, which we'll get to that later. But yeah, it's kind of. I mean, Owen Casey still hasn't really figured out in the big leagues, but he hasn't had an opportunity. He's had 20 some odd at bats throughout his career at 23, going into 24 years old. So I can live with the trade for the Cubs, but that's a really good player to be trading for a guy who hasn't had a whole lot of success yet in the big leagues. But and then the Marlins also made another trade. This one is one that I think we weren't really expecting as much. Ryan Weathers is a former top prospect, former first round pick. Again, kind of hasn't really figured it all out in the big leagues just yet, but he's a young guy, 26 years old, going in his age 26 season, and the Marlins traded him to the New York Yankees. It seems as though the Marlins weren't really going to get what they wanted from the Yankees if they were going to trade Edward Cabrera. So they decided to, go a little bit lower on the totem pole. And they got Ryan Weathers, who, again, still trying to figure it out in the big leagues. And in return, they got back 4 prospects. I believe they were all in the 15 to 20 range. I think one of them was unranked.
Yeah, it was like 14 and 15 or 15 and 16.
Yeah. As I'm pulling that up, what were your thoughts on this trade?
I'm gonna give you credit here because you brought this up to me, and you said it's felt struggling there. Um, very similar to the Shane Baz trade, and I agree with you. It's a good way to look at it. It felt like after they got Owen Casey, um, they almost it almost felt like they took quantity over quality here after they had just done the opposite. Um, Went out and got a bunch of fielders, a couple outfielders, couple infielders. So I like that they're trying to at least take some swings on bats because it seems like the Marlins over the years have just constantly been able to develop pitchers, but they've struggled to get anything going in the field. So I kind of like it. You're trading from a strength, you're taking shots um, on a bunch of potential young bats that could develop, and you hope that those are part of that future as well. But I didn't see this one coming. I thought it was interesting. First glance, I didn't really like it for the Marlins quite as much because Weathers has some good stuff. Former first round pick. He's got some stuff in his arsenal there. It just hasn't completely gotten together yet. Um, so at first I didn't like this, but looking at it, seeing the Marlins' needs, where they struggle, and what they do well, still not my favorite trade, but I don't dislike it quite as much as I did before.
Yeah, so the return was outfielders Dylan Lewis and Brendan Jones. Dylan Lewis was 14 in the Yankee system. He is now 15 in the Marlins system. Brendan Jones was 15 in the Marlins system. He is now 16 in the Yankee system. And then infielders Dylan Jaso, who was ranked 23rd in the Yankee system, and now in the Marlins system, he is unranked, as well as another infielder who is unranked named Juan Matthews. And yeah, I brought up the fact that it feels Shane Baz ish because you're trading a lot of young players who are prospects or prospect ish for this guy who, again, was a former first round pick, a former top prospect, and hasn't really figured it out in the big leagues for one reason or another. Shane Baz has been killed by injuries over the past few years. Ryan Weathers has had some injuries. He's also, kind of been stuck in a swingman role. At least he was whenever he was with San Diego. Um, but yeah, I still think he is capable of figuring something out. And he does also have, an option in case he doesn't. But the big thing that I'm curious about with Ryan Weathers is what his role is going to be with the Yankees. Because I think you're expecting him to be a starter. But if you look at this Yankees rotation right now, Garrett Cole is not going anywhere. Max Fried isn't going anywhere. Carlos Rodon isn't going anywhere unless one of those guys get injured. You also have, Luis Heel, who's a former Rookie of the Year, Cam Schlitter, who was a postseason hero for him, and Will Warren, who is a guy that the Yankees were really expecting to be able to rely on this year, and was really expecting him to take a step forward at 26 years old himself. So, I mean, like I said, Ryan Weathers has an option, but I don't think you really want to trade this many pitchers or this many players for a guy that might be in your bullpen, might be in the back end of your rotation, might be in the AAA. Um, so I think it's really going to rely on what the Yankees are capable of doing with him.
Yeah, and
Um,
and I do think they have some injuries to starting out the season where they're going to need a couple extra pitchers to rely on early. Um, and I think that's going to kind of be an open competition with a few of them that, hey, while these guys are coming back, we're playing the hot hand. Whoever's pitching strong, you guys are going to stick in the rotation. Whoever's not, you're going to be a swingman. And I think Ryan Weathers is kind of low man on the totem pole here, not necessarily because he's not as good as the other guys or his stuff isn't, but he's had more time in the bullpen than all those other guys. So um, it makes it more of a natural fit if that's where they're leaning.
yeah, and one more thing to talk about with this trade is that Dylan Lewis, who was the top ranked prospect that was traded. The Yankees and Marlins were originally talking with him being involved in that Edward Cabrera trade, at least from what the reports are that I've been hearing. But the the Marlins were like, no, we're probably going to need like Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones and Dylan Lewis and then some. And so the Yankees obviously balked at that, but the Marlins were still a big fan of Dylan Lewis, so they wanted, and obviously there was another pitcher that the Yankees wanted, so they ended up making a trade, and that's just kind of how a lot of trades seem to be. Is, oh well, we really want this prospect, take your pick,
Yep. And
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 we'll
I
try and
like
figure
that.
something out.
I like when a team identifies someone that they want and you just go get it. And whether that's a player or that's a prospect, um, I'm hoping we see some of that from our team.
Yeah, well, let's talk about our team because our team did make a trade, and it is a trade that has been splitting or that has split St. Louis in a lot of ways. I think there are a lot of
Me
people
and
that are a
you
fan of
both.
this. Yeah, there's a lot of people like Cody who are a fan of this. A lot of people like me who are at least in wait and see mode, if not a fan of it. But it's Nolan Arenado. Nolan Arenado got traded to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and we all kind of knew it was going to happen. The big question was how much money was the Cardinals going to eat? Uh, it wasn't even as much what the return was going to be, and the answer was almost all of it. Um, so the Diamondbacks are getting Nolan Arenado, and the Cardinals are paying $31 million of his remaining $42 million
26.
salary. Um, yeah, you say 26, but we also
The Diamondbacks are still paying 5.
the Rockies.
Or Rockies, sorry. The
Um,
Rockies are still paying
which in
5.
that trade they sent us $50 million. So when the Cardinals acquired Nolan Arenado from the Rockies, it was Nolan Arenado and I believe it was total $51 million for enter no names that we traded. It was Austin
Austin
Gomber,
Gomber.
Eliuris Montero, and three guys that never played above Double A.
And it was bad.
It was a trade that happened in 2021. The Cardinals already spent that money. I can promise you that. So
I don't know.
we are eating $31 million, regardless of if you want to call it 21 or 26 or whatever.
26.
Because if you're doing that logic, it'd be 10 million because it'd be 5 million a year. But going off of that, the Cardinals are eating $31 million, and in return, we got back a pitcher named Jack Martinez. I'm trying my best to not be like the St. Louis sports writers around here who I watched a live stream. They kept calling him Jack Martin. Got a little bit of seasoning in there. And the reason why people kept getting his name wrong is because this is a guy who's most likely never going to pitch in the big leagues. He hasn't pitched yet in professional ball. Was an 8th round pick last year out of Arizona State, who, he has a live fastball, has pretty easy velo, and has a really good slider, but he walks the entire ballpark. Has a curveball that doesn't have the best shape, and gets hit a lot and gets thrown in the zone a lot, and a changeup that needs work as well. So he basically has one big league pitch, and he
The
has probably the worst.
ugliest delivery I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a delivery that is straight to first base.
It looks like he's falling over every time he lets go of a pitch.
Yeah, and again, there's
Maybe
some.
that gets fixed. The control gets fixed. Maybe there's hope.
Yeah, this is a guy that is really going to
It's a
rely
project.
on what Heim and his pitching development team can really do. But this is a guy who had a 5.47 ERA last year as a senior in college. I'm not holding my breath. And the reason why it's so split is because, again, there's people like Cody who think just get him off the team regardless of what you have to do because he's blocking young guys.
Yes.
And there's guys like me who is saying it is a terrible business model, regardless of what your business is, to to pay guys to not work for your company, especially when they're not a net negative. Nolan Arenado last year was a net negative whenever it came to his hitting. He was an 87
A
OPS plus
huge
last
net
year.
negative.
Not a huge one. He was 13% below league average.
Not good.
87 OPS plus, 666 OPS. But you also have to take into account that he is still at 35 years old, one of the best defensive third basemen in baseball. He was a Gold Glove finalist last year, didn't end up winning it, but he also won 10 straight as recently as 2 years ago. So he's still a really good defender. If you look at his WAR, he is still on pace. He missed some time last year, but he was on pace to be a league average player. I don't like that that's a guy that you pay $16 million a year to not play for your team just to get Thomas Sajaci in the lineup, who...
Or Nolan Gorman.
Nolan Gorman is
I
going to
know
be in the
you
lineup
hate
regardless.
it. I know you hate it, but I don't care.
Yeah, Nolan Gorman is going to be in the lineup regardless. Thomas Sajaci is now going to be the starting third baseman for the Cardinals, who, you know, maybe he ends up taking a step forward. He was a good hitter in AAA, but he screams a backup infielder at the big league level.
And he very well may be, but you're not going to know that with him getting 75 at-bats a year. Or can his defense even stay there? And I know you'll argue with me about this, but JJ Weatherholt's spot may be third base and not second base. It is what it is. I don't know. But I would much rather figure it out than waste yet another freaking year of Nolan Arenado's bat getting even worse. It has significantly decreased over the last 3 years to where it was ugly. And he might only be 13 points under league average, but he wasn't taking competitive at bats. He was rolling over the ball to third, or he was swinging at sliders out of the zone. It was ugly. I was sick of seeing it. I would rather the young guys get a chance, even though they don't play Gold Glove third base, because this team isn't trying to win this year. That's not what's happening. This team is trying to figure out who is here for the future, and you can't do that with Nolan Arenado at third base hitting sixth because it's Nolan Arenado when he shouldn't be in the lineup. So, yeah, I'm all for getting rid of him, even if we have to pay it away. Would I have liked to get a better prospect? Yeah, of course. But it sounded like we had other options, and Arenado said no. So you can only do what you're allowed to do.
Our other options were the San Diego Padres, who apparently were going to pay even less money, give probably an even worse prospect, and play him at first, which is even dumber than paying him to not play for your team. His value is at third base. Stop trying to act like playing first base is an option for him. And the Oakland Athletics, the Cardinals had a deal with the Oaksack Vegas Athletics to acquire Nolan Arenado, to where Nolan said, "Don't even think about it," which he should.
And they were gonna eat more. They were gonna take on more of his salary and probably give us a better prospect.
Yeah, but again, he is right to not want to go there.
I don't know, man. He could hit better there, and I actually like their lineup. I don't like their pitching, but I like their lineup.
You could say that about the Diamondbacks too, though. It's a much better place to hit than St. Louis.
I mean, it's air conditioned all year, so I guess.
And the big thing that on the Diamondback side that I'm curious about is, why do you hate Jordan Lawler?
They do.
Diamondbacks fans. Diamondbacks fans, let us know why the Diamondbacks hate Jordan Lawler so much. Because, you know, I understand he hasn't done a whole lot in the big leagues. He also hasn't gotten a chance. He is, I believe, 24 years old at this point. He was a former top 10 prospect in all of baseball.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
And now you're taking away, unless the Diamondbacks are doing the dumb thing and playing Nolan Arenado at first base, because right now,
I guess they could.
because right now Tim Tawa is the projected first baseman according to MLB.com.
We all know it's going to be
Um,
Paul Goldschmidt. Just sign him already.
yeah, I think that's where the thought process of that is. But yeah, Jordan Lawler is going into his age 24 season. Again, has been very bad. Uh, 51 OPS plus, or sorry, 33 OPS plus throughout his career. 478 career OPS. That is also in 97 at bats. That has been stretched out between 2023 at 20 years old and 2025 at 22 years old. So I guess he's going into his age 23 season this year.
Yeah.
Um, give him playing time or trade him. That is my thought process on that because you could have him. You can't have him playing third base now because unless you're moving Arenado to first or you're trade him for to be a bench bat maybe for Nolan Arenado to be a bench bat. But you got Nolan Arenado at third. You've got Geraldo Perdomo who's legit at short. You've got Ketel Marte at second, who you decided not to trade, so he can't play second. I don't know what the plan is right now with Jordan Lawler.
Yeah, I don't either. I thought it was going to be second when they were trying to trade Ketel Marte. Now they're holding on to him. You're not moving Herdaldo Perdomo. He's an awesome shortstop. And now Nolan's at third. Like, are you trying to move him to like left field or something? Because that's the only way he's getting playing time. Or he's going to be a super utility. He's going to fill in at second, short, and third every couple of days.
I mean, I guess they could do that because they have Jorge Barosa. Oh, they have Lourdes playing left right now, so they can't even really do that unless you
Who
DH Lourdes Gurriel.
probably should.
Because you got Alec Thomas in center, you got Corbin Carroll in right.
Carolyn Wright, yeah.
So I don't know. Let us Diamondbacks fans, let us know what you guys think because it doesn't make a
It
whole lot of
doesn't make
sense to me
sense to
why
me.
you're
No.
trading for Nolan Arenado if you
Let
want to
Jordan
give.
Lawler play.
Yeah, and again, didn't give anything up for Nolan, so I understand. But let's talk about some of these free agent signings.
Let's do it.
So Alex Bregman is next in line, and he had a whole storyline last year, even beyond where is he going to sign, because after he signed with the Red Sox, it led to the whole can of worms opening up of Rafael Devers moving off of third, him getting mad about it, him getting traded to the Giants, and now Alex Bregman is on the Chicago Cubs. He signed a 5-year deal for $175 million. And I'm going to start by saying not re-signing Alex Bregman and trading Rafael Devers for him is a failure on the Boston Red Sox part. This is a guy that you wanted to build around. Still one of the best bats in the league in Rafael Devers. I understand he was, becoming a problem with his attitude, but you also made that decision by going out and signing Alex Bregman last offseason when he is willing to play second base and not playing him at second base. So now you have Christian Campbell, who you are very obviously not excited about. Marcelo Meyer, who you're probably excited about, but not. He needs to take a step forward this year. And Trevor Story, who you're paying $25 million a year to. I mean, he finally had his first good season last year. And he's going into his age, I think, 34 season. And Wilson Contreras at first base. That's your infield. What are your thoughts on it?
I think they thought they were getting him. They made a competitive offer. They thought the agent was bluffing when they're like, "Hey, we've got a better offer." But that's where I would just tell him, be like, hey, if you want him to stay here, and if he wants to stay here, I'm going to the team, being like, hey, this is exactly what the Cubs has offered. Match it, beat it. We'll stay here. Um, but I don't see this as huge of a failure as you do, because Devers had to go. It just had to happen. Um, you got something good. You thought you had a guy. You thought you kept a guy. So yeah, it sucks, but I think if Bregman wanted to be there, he would be there. Because you're talking only like $2 million a year difference.
I don't necessarily think it's a thing where he didn't want to be there, but I think it's a thing where he was in Boston for 1 year. I think his preference probably would have been to stay in Boston, but also he will go wherever the most money is. Remember, he is a Scott Boras guy,
Yeah,
so he
we
is going to
love
take the
them.
highest. Yeah, so he's going to take the highest deal, even if it's $2 million a year. And I don't think he had the connection to Boston quite like he probably would if this was Houston. But
Yeah.
and then
The other side of this deal, though, like, I've softened my stance a little on this. I did not like this right away. And it's mainly because two things. One, you have a third baseman in a high level prospect in Matt Shaw who you want to give playing time to. Now you're taking that away from him, and he's not going to be your third baseman because you have Bregman for 5 years. So you've got to move him. Um, at second base, you've got Nico Horner that you're now considered trading because you could move Matt Shaw to second, which might be a better fit for Matt Shaw. But I really like what Nico Horner brings to a lineup. It brings elite defense, and it brings a leadoff contact hitter that's good at getting on base. He's a table setter, and I think that's really important. I am not in favor of trading Nico Horner. I would like to see Matt Shaw get his playing time because he started coming along down the stretch, and figured out how to hit in the big leagues. And you want to see that continue to carry over. And now you're just going to stunt his development unless you're moving Horner again, which I am not a fan of. So for me, I hated this right away. I've softened my stance because that lineup is really good with Alex Bregman in it. I I just don't like what it does to the other guys that have been good in their lineup.
I never hated this deal for the Cubs. Obviously, Alex Bregman is a guy that makes your team better. Um, I hate what it leads to because again, it's just like you said. You got to give Matt Shaw a shot somewhere, and this really takes away any ability to be able to do that unless you trade Nico Horner. Which, if you're trading Nico Horner, what was the point of signing Alex Bregman? Because it makes your infield defense worse, in my opinion. Alex Bregman's a really good third baseman, but Nico Horner is a Gold Glove second baseman, who is has turned into a league average hitter, and he is one of those glue guys, one of those leaders of your team. I don't like the idea of trading that guy, and so you're kind of in a spot to where you're stuck with this log jam, and maybe that looks like Matt Shaw in AAA for another year. But Matt Shaw is about to be going into his age 24 season. He was a former first round pick that you were expecting to be in the big leagues really quickly. I don't know. Good on you for signing Alex Bregman, because it's showing that you're going for it. But I don't like it if it leads to trading Nico Horner. Um, but not trading
I
him
mean,
opens up a
here's
whole
the
new
thing,
problem.
and I hate on the Cubs because I'm a Cardinals fan, but good on the Cubs for going out and making moves and acting like a semi big market team, because they've acted like they're a small market team the last few years, outside of the really short deal with Kyle Tucker. Um, they hadn't been spending money, they hadn't been acting like they can afford things, and you go out and you make a move, you get Edward Cabrera, and then you go out and you supplement your team and try and make a run of this thing, and you get Alex Bregman. Like I said, it's not my favorite move, but I at least am going to give them their props for trying to do something and going out there and trying to win a very winnable division in the NL Central.
Yeah. And I think talking about Alex Bregman leads to another conversation about his former team. Because the Boston Red Sox decided they needed to pivot, and they pivoted by adding more to their pitching staff. They signed Ranger Suarez. It's to a 5-year deal for $130 million. Deal comes with a mutual option for 2031 with a $10 million buyout. So it'll either be probably 6 for 155 ish or 5 for 140. I mean, do you think this is something that they felt like they had to do after losing out on Alex Bregman, or was this going to happen regardless?
Yes and no. Do they think they had to? I think for fans wise, yes. Do I think they needed to? Not necessarily. But I look at this and I go back to the beginning of the offseason when they traded for Sonny Gray. We talked about how we liked the move, but we felt like Sonny was more of a number 3 for them, and we would really like them to go get a number 2. Well, you did that, and now you can march out 3 guys that you feel confident in, and if you make the playoffs, you've got Crochet going, and then you can walk Ranger Suarez out there, and then you can have Sonny be the 3. And I feel a lot more confident with that than just having Crochet, Sonny, and then a lot of these young guys that haven't proven it yet. I like a lot of their young pitching. I think it's going to be really good, but you have so much depth there now that's MLB ready or very close to MLB ready that I think this allows you to trade 1 or 2 of those young guys and go get a piece that you need.
Yeah, let me run through real quick the Red Sox pitching depth now.
It's
Just
crazy.
just in the rotation. So you have Garrett Crochet, who was what, Cy Young 2, Cy Young 3 last year. I think Cy Young 2.
Too.
You have Ranger Suarez now. You traded for Sonny Gray. You traded for Johan Oviedo, which I think he's going to be in the rotation
Swingman.
because they traded a top 100 prospect for him. I think
Which
they
was
have to
dumb.
have big plans for him. Brian Bayo, former All-Star St. Louis guy Tanner Houck, who's coming off of injury. Kyle Harrison, Patrick Sandoval, who's coming off of injury, who everyone I think is forgetting about, as well as Cutter Crawford, Peyton Tolley, Connolly Early.
That's 11.
Yeah,
11 guys that could legitimately be in your rotation this year.
yeah, and I think this is at a point where Kyle Harrison is very expendable.
This is it for him for sure.
But you don't want to have to do that because he's one of the pieces you got back for Rafael Devers.
Yeah.
And Jordan Hicks definitely isn't working out. So
No,
you
he's
really need Kyle Harrison to be, but he's probably the worst option of that. Patrick Sandoval, I mean, he was a really good pitcher with the Angels, but he's probably expendable at this point. And you're probably looking at making a trade where you're sending away Peyton Tolley or Connolly Early.
I don't think Peyton Tolley's going anywhere, but I think Connerly Early very well could be.
Connolly Early, who was one
and
of your
Brian
best
Bayo.
pitchers down the stretch last year, who was pitching in a lot of high leverage situations.
100%.
Brian Bayo, who's a young guy who you were really hoping
I think those
you're
are the
going to be able to
two big
rely on.
names that you're going to be looking at to trade.
And
I
then
don't think we're going as deep as Kyson Witherspoon, but I think those two, absolutely. And maybe even Tanner Houck. Maybe those are my 3 that you start looking at.
and like sure their bullpen depth is lacking, so like you can probably put some of those guys in the bullpen. But
I have a perfect solution for them.
I bet you do.
1 Brendan Donovan and 1 JoJo Romero. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Well, that's the problem that I was getting into is that you answer with by losing Bregman with Ranger Suarez, but again, it leads to the problem of right now Christian Campbell isn't even listed on your big league depth chart. He was sent down the minors for a good portion of last year
Yeah, he
because they didn't like
struggled.
him.
You're
Marcelo
trusting
Meyer,
Marcelo Meyer.
you're really trusting Marcelo Meyer. Um, Maybe you can have Ceden Rafaela play shortstop
Yeah, and
or
that's
play
what
in
I
the infield somewhere.
or second. Yeah, and that's what I brought up last time we tried to record this was you still didn't trade Jaron Duran. So your outfield is Jaron Duran, Sedena Rafaela, Roman Anthony, and Willie Abreu. So you've got four
And
legit.
Masataka Yoshida.
He doesn't count. He's a bench player at best. He does not play in the outfield. He is a DH at best, and he should not be. He's not good. But your best outfielder out in center is Sedena Rafaela, and because of that depth that you have and because of his versatility, you might be taking him out of center field to play on your infield because you need him. That's
Yeah, because
problematic.
you can't be playing Romy Gonzalez and Nate Eaton and Nick Sogard if you're
No,
trying to make a playoff push.
no, you can't. And we've seen that Trevor Story's had injury issues over the last several years. So if he gets hurt, you're screwed.
Yeah, and
You
it'd
need to
make a
get
lot of
some infield.
sense. It'd make a lot of sense for a Brendan Donovan trade and sending back a Connolly
Pitching,
early and Tristan
something else.
Cassis
That's
and
been my trade.
some sort of prospect along with
Yeah,
that.
and
But it
you
doesn't
need
sound like
bullpen
that's
help
what's going to
too,
happen.
so JoJo can get involved.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like that's what's going to happen. And to that, I say,
What are they going to do?
hopefully
Sign?
Alex Cora,
Are you going to
hopefully
sign
Alex Cora
Eugenio
can get
Suarez?
creative. He would do good with the monster. I don't know. Hopefully Alex Cora can get creative, but
He's gonna have to.
All right. This leads to the conversation.
I don't have the energy to do this rant today.
So to anyone who's
So
been
mad.
to anyone who's been watching us for any sort of amount of time, you may know our most popular episode was an episode where we were talking about the lockout that would be coming up. It was right after the Dodgers won the World Series. It's got about 5 or 6 times the views that any other of our videos do. And it was because Cody went on a rant about the Dodgers ruining baseball.
Because they are. And have.
Well, they decided to add on to that, and they signed Kyle Tucker, which there's a lot of people that are surprised about this, and those people
Why?
haven't been watching what's happening. They signed Kyle Tucker to a 4-year deal worth $240 million, $60 million a year. There is an opt out after the second and the third year. There's about $30 million, I think, worth of money that is deferred. There's about $30 million worth of money that is a signing bonus.
You know, I just saw part of his contract today. His base salary this season, $1 million.
Yeah. And I think his cap hit is somewhere, or his salary.
Whatever counts against the salary.
What's the thing? Yeah. It counts for about $58 million, which is a record. And that brings the payroll for that's what I was thinking of, the payroll hit. It brings the payroll for the Dodgers to roughly $430 million this year. And that's not including signing bonus money that they spent. That is not including the $2 billion worth of deferred money.
I think it's 1.08 billion in deferred.
Something one of
Total
those numbers
contracts is over 2 billion.
There we go. Yeah, it's my thing And we're not going to get into a huge rant like we were originally planning on because again, it's late. But that old video got a lot of views because a lot of Dodgers fans got mad at the fact that we were saying there needs to be a salary cap and there needs to be a salary floor. Um, and they can go ahead and get mad all they want. It's going to happen.
It's coming.
Because you are, I'll say that the Dodgers fans that are saying, oh, well, the Marlins and the Pirates and the Rockies and the A's, the teams that don't want to spend money, those are the problem. We agree. Those teams are equally as big of a problem as the teams that are spending so much money that no one can catch up. The guys that are saying, oh, well, the Angels should have re-signed Shohei Ohtani. The Braves should have re-signed Freddie Freeman. The Red Sox shouldn't have traded Mookie Betts. You're correct. They should have done that. The issue there lies that the Dodgers are the only team in baseball right now that are capable of doing all of those things. There is no team in baseball, not even the Yankees or the Mets or whatever other team, the Blue Jays, that have a lot of money, that are rich enough to be able to sign all of these teams or all of these players. I mean, there are a bunch of Dodgers fans that are saying, "Oh, well, anyone could have signed Shohei Ohtani for $700 million, and the Dodgers made their money back. The Middle America teams would be able to do that too." The St. Louis Cardinals would not be able to make their money back off of $70 million a year of Shohei Ohtani. The Milwaukee Brewers would not be able to make their money back on $60 million a year for Kyle Tucker. They would be destroyed for how many years at just the thought of that.
A lot.
And I have a rant for the Brewers too that I'm for later.
Good.
Not as big of a rant, but I don't know. People that are saying that we need a $200 million salary floor with no salary cap have no grasp. Yeah. They have no grasp on economics. And the people like, you know, I don't know, the people that are saying that, I don't know. It's very easy to say that there's no problem when your team is the one benefiting from the problem. Because I won't say the Dodgers are the problem. I will not say the Dodgers are ruining baseball. The Dodgers are working off of the rules that are given to them right now. The Dodgers aren't ruining baseball, or I'll say the Dodgers aren't breaking baseball. Baseball is broken, and the Dodgers are showing how. And if something is broken, it needs to get fixed. So Dodgers fans can get mad at us all they want. If you are Dodgers fans and you're a Dodgers fan and you're mad at us for saying there is going to be a salary cap and there is going to be baseball missed because of it in 2027, let us know how mad you are. We're fine with that. We're fine with it. We're fine with it. We'll take the heat. Let us know what you think. But regardless, we are going to be missing baseball in 2027 because...
And maybe 2028.
I don't think it's going to go that serious.
I know you don't. I think this is about to be ugly, and I don't care what you Dodgers fans think. You're ruining baseball. Don't care. You are the only people who think that this is acceptable. Oh, well, anyone can. No, they can't. It's not possible. Not even the Dodgers, like Kyle said, not even the Mets, not even the Blue Jays. List your teams, San Fran, San Diego, all the big market teams. No, they can't. Because MLB has given you a loophole. Because you were going to go bankrupt in 2011, and the MLB stepped in and saved your butts, and you have a TV deal that allows you to make 10 times more money than any other market is able to do because you're the only one with this TV deal. You're making like $300 million plus on a TV deal where no one else is making anywhere near to that. And it allows you to spend in a way that is not possible. And that doesn't include that you have the richest ownership group on top of that that could spend that much even if they didn't have that. But you have the richest group, and then you have a deal that no one else is capable of getting. And then you want to whine and complain and act like it's everyone else's fault that they should just spend the revenue that they make. It's not possible because a lot of the teams do. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and anyone bringing
Those
up
of you
revenue
that don't
sharing,
know, go look into your TV deal and then come at me about it because that's what's going on here. Yes, if you listen to us the first time, we did say there needs to be a salary cap, and there does. But you didn't listen to where we said there needed to be a salary floor as well because there are problems with those small market teams that are not spending. It screws everything up. It makes it less competitive. But putting in a floor and putting in a cap brings parity to baseball. Instead of one team signing every big name free agent or five or six teams being able to sign all the free agents, now some of those free agent guys, they got to go to other teams. It makes it competitive. It makes it more fun. You don't know who's going to win every night. I if I could make $100 bet right now for the Dodgers to win the World Series and make like $50 off of it because everyone already knows what's going to happen. Like it's the dumbest thing. Um, so yeah, boo hoo. Oh, we're getting there's not going to be a lockout. Yes, there is, and it's 100% because of the amount of money that you spend on contracts that are just absolutely ridiculous. You literally have two players that, if they're making their actual salary per year, is more than half of baseball in two players. Don't tell me that's not a problem. And also that you have deferred over $1 billion in salaries. $1 billion with a B. That's absolutely insane. There's a team that almost had to get sold because they tried to do this in the past. So this isn't the first time this has happened where there was an issue. This is unacceptable to keep going this way. Not only is it an unfair advantage to the biggest market team in baseball, it's absolutely ridiculous and no one wants to see this except for you whiny, ignorant Dodger fans.
yeah, and I've had a lot of interesting conversations over the past few weeks about some Dodgers fans being like, okay, yeah, you're right. There is an issue. I don't necessarily think a cap floor is the answer, but maybe there is an answer in terms of like the NBA's luxury tax system, which has been very good over the past few years at not leading to dynasties. Um, if you are one of those fans that are have your head on straight and are like, okay, well, let's talk about an issue, talk about a solution to this issue. Let us know. If you are one of those low IQ Dodgers fans, which there's low IQ fans for every
Yes, there
fan
is.
base, but if you're one of those low IQ Dodgers fans that are like L L L, uh, leave that in the comment section too. Let us know how mad you are that I just called you low IQ. We'll we'll take all of
Don't
we'll
worry.
take
I've got comebacks that'll go right over your head, so it's fine.
but yeah, there's an issue. Revenue sharing is not helping as much as a lot of people think they are. And never mind the fact that there's about 12 teams right now who don't have TV deals. Period. Like
Yeah.
right now, Major League
It's at
Baseball
least
is
nine.
trying to Major League Baseball is trying to fix however many teams TV deals because they don't have one at all because of uh, Fox Sports and Bally and FanDuel, the
Not
company that
paying
was
them.
owning all of those, going under basically. So, yeah, it's a tough situation. This is going to get resolved in the near future. I don't think it's going to be the point to where we're not going to have baseball at all in 2027. I don't think it's going to be at the point where we miss baseball in 2028. But come the end of the 2026 season, I think the agreement ends in like November of 2026 or something like that. There will be a work stoppage. and it will not stop until there is a solution.
All the
And
owners have already said there will be a salary cap or we're not going back. So get used to it.
yeah, and again, I don't know if they're willing to miss out on the billions of dollars they'd be losing, missing an entire year of baseball, but the Dodgers or these owners are able to take the hit better than the players are.
100%.
But yeah, Kyle Tucker signed with the Dodgers. There were a couple teams that were in on him, and one of those teams was the New York Mets. The New York Mets made a couple moves in response to it, and some of them are very good ideas, and some of them I applaud the Mets for. Some of them are
We
odd
weren't
to
saying
me.
this a couple of days ago.
Yeah, we recorded our last episode on Monday, which is at that point, Bo Bichette was the only player that the Mets brought in. So we'll talk about him. Signed a 3-year deal for $126 million to play third base for the New York Mets. There is a opt out after every year of the deal with a $5 million buyout attached to the opt outs. So this could be a 1 for 47, a 2 for 89, or a 3 for 126. For Bo Bichette, who he's a fine player, he's not that good. To play third base when you have enough third basemen already, you have multiple third basemen that are big league caliber, multiple shortstops that are big league caliber, multiple second basemen that are big league caliber, Jorge Polanco playing first base, and at the time, Juan Soto, Tyrone Taylor, and Carson Bench as their outfield.
That's so bad.
With basically no pitching. And again, that was fixed very shortly after we recorded that episode to the point where we had to re-record this episode. Not fully fixed, I don't think, but they made a couple trades. They acquired Luis Robert from the Chicago White Sox in exchange for Luis Angel Acuna and a pitcher who I think was drafted last year that wasn't in the top 30 prospects. I'll have to
Tobias
double
Myers.
check that, but and well, that was with the other trade. The other trade is that the Mets acquired Freddie Peralta and Tobias Myers, who's a nice little swingman the Mets will have, in exchange for Brandon Sproat and Jet Williams. So there's a lot there that
Two
the Mets
top
did.
hundreds.
Yeah. Give us your thoughts on everything that happened with the Mets.
All right. Well, let's start at the beginning. When they signed Bo Bichette, I thought this was ignorant. You needed something, but that something was pitching an outfield. You signed a shortstop when you already have Francisco Lindor to go play third base when you already have Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos. And then at first base, you are currently going to be playing Jorge Polanco, who is a second baseman, where you also traded this offseason to get Marcus Semien. What in the world are we doing? Like, I would love to understand and walk through the brain of that GM over there to be like, this is the plan, and selling that to ownership, because this is just, I don't even know what to make of it. I don't. The infield is absolutely ridiculous. So I did not like that. I did not like giving him $42 million a year either. I thought that was crazy. And to give him opt out after every year, that just basically guarantees I'm getting out of this crap hole situation after 1 year and taking my $47 million with me. But I like, though, that they attempted to fix their outfield. I think Luis Robert getting out of Chicago, it could be what he needs. He's a really good he's a really good center fielder, and I just think his bat will play. I think he's just not cared for the last couple of years in Chicago, if I'm being quite honest. It wasn't a good situation. He wanted out. They refused to trade him because no one offered enough, but he wasn't playing good enough to be offered more. So it was just a vicious cycle there. So I think he will do better in New York. I think he will step his game up. Plus, he's can bat like right in front of Juan Soto or Bo Bichette, or he's going to get pitches to hit. Um, you needed two outfielders and you got one. Good job. I also thought this was a team that needed to go get another pitcher as well, if not two. You've taken one step. You've got a pitcher now. So I like the things that they did to attempt to fix it. I still think this lineup was better last year than it is currently now. Um, but you tried to fix the problem. I just don't know if you fixed it in the right way. I still think they need to go get another pitcher. Like, I think they need to go sign Framber for 1 year because I don't think he's getting more than that. Like, this locker room is going to be insane.
Yeah. So, like I said, I had a lot of issues with Bo Bichette. Obviously, I do think there is a fix somewhere in this lineup, and it would probably look like Mark Vientos DHing, Bo Bichette playing third base, and Brett Beatty probably playing left field until
Because Carson Bench isn't ready. He didn't hit a AAA last year, but we're going to put him in the big leagues and think he's going to be fine.
And to that, I'll say, okay, sure, why not? I still think you would have been better off signing Cody Bellinger because regardless of how much you believe, regardless of how much you believe in Jorge Polanco is not a first baseman, and he doesn't hit well enough to be a first baseman. He's never played first base in his life. I don't get what the point is of bringing in Jorge Polanco, period, let alone to play first base. But, okay.
I mean, I didn't get bringing in Marcus Semien either.
Yeah, you need a second baseman. I mean,
you signed Jorge Polanco. You have one. And then you could also have Nimmo out in left field still, where you need one.
Sure. But you can sell me on the fact that the Mets have a plan going. Now, we were going in on
something.
Again, if that other episode that we wish we didn't have to scrap came in, which again, it was recorded on Monday before Luis Robert, before Freddie Peralta, before all that. We were going in on the Mets. But bad. Good on them. I do still think they need a pitcher, but you got Freddie Peralta. In terms of what I think about the trades, I think the Luis Robert trade was great because
I do too.
I don't think Luis Angel Acuna is necessarily a player that is a needle mover. So, sure, you trade him to the White Sox. The White Sox look like they're going to play him in center field, which okay. And Truman Pauly was the guy's name, who 22 years old, drafted in the 12th round last year out of Harvard. 4 1/3 innings and 4 1/3 innings at single A, 1 run, 3 strikeouts. So we'll see what that leads to going into his age 23 season, but you didn't give up a lot for a really good player.
Nope, I like it.
Hasn't been playing up to his abilities in Chicago. The other one I don't know if I love as much. I mean, Tobias Myers, I think, is a really underrated pitcher. I'm a fan of Freddie Peralta. Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat is a big return.
And you have to be. Does Freddie have a year of ARB after this year?
I think
or is this it?
He has 1 year and he's done. I think.
I mean, they have money to sign him, but
yeah, you have to be really sure that you're gonna re-sign him.
You got to re-sign him.
If you're trading Brandon Sproat and Jet Williams.
I like Jet Williams.
Free agents.
Let's go, little guys.
Yeah, free agent after 2026. Now I said I had
you have
some
your
things
ace.
Yeah, so You know what? I'll say everything the Mets did makes a lot of sense. Good
except
for
for
him. I think the
Bobichet.
trades come out as a wash. Yeah, improved your offense with Bo
You
Bichette at
improved your
least.
offense.
I said I had some things to say about the Brewers, so I'm going to say them real quick. Trading
What
Freddie
are you
Peralta,
doing?
trading Freddie Peralta because you're paying him $8 million a year is a travesty,
Yes.
and you are one of the reasons why people are saying we don't need a salary cap, we need a salary floor. You are one of the
Yes.
problems in baseball.
100%.
I now you got two great prospects for him, so good on you.
But you
You would
already
have
have
been
so many shortstop prospects, and you just got another one. You have a Jesus Mate. Jesus made. He is like the number 3 prospect in baseball. Why do we need more shortstop prospects? Your whole infield prospect system is loaded. What are we doing?
yeah, and I mean Durbin. I think Chad Durbin is his name or something Durbin that they
Caleb
got
Durbin.
from Caleb Durbin. Chad Durbin was a pitcher. Uh, yeah, Caleb Durbin hasn't been working out. Uh, or they trade away Caleb Durbin, didn't they? Yeah,
Did they?
I don't know.
They've got
No,
Joey
they got him.
Ortiz.
They got him in the Devin Williams trade. So yeah, they got him. He hasn't been working out. Joey Ortiz, he's been good. Maybe you need another infielder. I don't know. You need pitching.
MLB infielders now, though. You don't
Yeah,
need prospects on prospects.
yeah, and you've got good pitching prospects too. You've been really good at developing them. You need pitchers
Yes.
now because you are competing.
Not
Like
anymore.
you won the NL Central last year, and I honestly think they can still win the NL Central this year. So it's not a huge deal in the grand scheme.
I don't think they can.
But teams like this that are trying to compete, who again have been a consistent playoff team for the last 10 years, trading guys because they have to pay them $8 million and they don't want to resign.
This is very Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, and it's not helping the case for the fact that the Dodgers are a problem, which again they are.
Both sides are a problem.
Yeah, but I don't know. Again, I think it is a very savvy move for a team that is good at developing all kinds of players. So I can't.
But then go get like Jonah
much,
Tong in that trade. Like he's closer to MLB ready than Brandon Sprout.
Yeah, I don't know. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth seeing a team.
I don't like it. I saw it and I couldn't believe it happened.
I would have given this a 10 out of 10
for the Mets,
but
I hated it for the Brewers.
If it was like the Twins trading Joe Ryan and getting this return, I would have given it a 10 out of 10 for both teams.
But not a contending team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is now the Cubs division to lose.
I don't think it makes that big of a difference, but
I do. You just took your ace out, and now you're trusting Jacob Mizrowski to fill in those innings when he couldn't go past like 4 innings ever.
But we've said this before about the Brewers.
I know they always find a way to win, but they also always had multiple elite pitchers, and they don't anymore. You have Brandon Woodruff, who's old and came off of injury after last year.
Let me check.
Freddie Peralta was your staple.
He was their ace, but right now MLB.com is no help because they list Quinn Priester and Jacob Mizrowski as their pitching rotation.
And you have Brandon Woodruff. Those are your 3.
Brandon Woodruff, I like Quinn Priester. Aaron Ashby.
Okay, he should be
maybe you're letting Robert Gasser get some run in the rotation.
Pass.
Maybe Chad Patrick gets some run. Those are good pitchers. Robert Gasser was a former top 100 prospect.
Yeah,
Chad,
but it's not Freddie Peralta.
Chad Patrick could be Freddie Peralta.
Okay, here's the thing. Could be. They haven't got time. They haven't put in any innings yet. You don't know if they're going to bust in the MLB because they haven't done anything. You know you had a bona fide ace making $8 million. That's it. And you traded
If
him
you
away.
were if you were
Now, if
relying
you're not
on
competing, if you're not competing at the deadline and you're like, oh, we tried to re-sign him and it's not going to happen, like, do what the Tigers are probably about to do and trade Tarek Skubal at the deadline, but make a run at it first.
if you were relying on one of these guys, like on Jacob Mizorowski or Robert Gasser or Chad Patrick or Angel Zerpa, because there's talks about you
That's so dumb. Do not
starting
make him
him.
a starter. You need two of them now.
You need four of them.
Well,
Three
you
of
need
them.
at
Because
least two of those to
Quinn
be.
Priester and Brendan Woodruff, and then it's three of those guys.
Well, I'm counting Mizorowski there, so not that I think
Maybe Brandon Sproat.
I don't think he's
you
ready.
see something in him to where he's ready. Maybe Logan Henderson might be ready.
That's a lot of maybes.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't been a fan of the Brewers' whole offseason so far this year because they also traded Isaac Collins earlier in the offseason.
And yeah, for Angel Zerpa. No, that's stupid. I mean, they have a lot of outfield depth, but trade it for an actual starter, not a bullpen guy.
Yeah, but again, I'll say the Brewers are one of the best run teams in baseball. I trust them more than I trust a lot of teams whenever they make
This
trades
one's
like
a head
this,
scratcher, though.
saying they have a vision. You're trading for two top 100 prospects for a guy who had 1 year left. I don't hate it as much as you do, but I don't love it because, again, just pay Freddie Peralta.
Exactly. You've got to pay somebody at some point. You've got Jackson Cheerio locked up. Pay your ace.
Yeah. Let's talk about JT Realmuto real quick.
Very quickly.
Yeah, JT Realmuto signed a, I believe, 3-year deal, was it, with the
15
Phillies?
per. Yeah, 45 total.
Yeah, 3 for 45. I think we all expected this. As much as, you know, back in our Christmas gift episode, go watch that. I said maybe the Texas Rangers could be a thing. Maybe this team, maybe that team. It's kind of like Kyle Schwarber. JT was always going to go back to the Phillies. And this is a move that the Phillies needed to make. The issue that I now have with the Phillies, can you do something else? Can you?
They tried. They thought they did.
Yeah, they thought they had Bo Bichette. They offered him exactly what he wanted, and he took 3 for 126 because why wouldn't he?
Because he doesn't want to go to a dumpster fire.
But
this is fun,
yeah,
That's
every single move that the Phillies have made are things that they had to make, not to get better, but to get back to where they were last year. Now, I think Brad Keller was a nice. Yeah, I think Brad Keller was a nice little signing. He can be either a nice swingman or a nice arm out of the back of the bullpen.
He's going to be an elite back of the bullpen guy.
But your biggest calling card,
7th, 8th, and 9th is going to be filthy.
It's going to be really good. Even their 6th, Tanner Banks is a really good pitcher too.
Yeah, so you got Banks, you got Junis, you've got Kerkering, and then you got Duran at the end. That's filthy.
And that didn't even include what you just said. Didn't even include Brad Keller
or Brad Keller, not Junis. Brad Keller.
Junis signed with the Rangers.
Yeah, Brad Keller, not Junis. I don't know. I think they were both in Kansas City at one point, and that's going to mess with me. But I think you're going to need it because I don't like this rotation right now, and I think that's your biggest weakness.
Yeah, and that was the biggest strength for the Phillies.
Right-handed bat in your outfield.
And for the past few years, the Phillies' biggest strength has been their rotation. Now, Aaron Nola is kind of a question mark sometimes. He'll give you innings, but how good will those innings really be? Zach Wheeler, you don't know what you're going to get from him coming off of thoracic outlet syndrome.
If anything.
They lost Ranger Suarez. So, I mean, you have Christopher Sanchez, which is great. You have Jesus Luzardo, which is great. Are you relying on Andrew Painter?
I think they are. I think it's time. Like, it's now or never.
What are you going to do in your outfield? Are you going to make them? Are you going to pull the trigger and bring back Harrison Bader?
You should.
Uh, I don't
He
know.
was really good for you.
But then also, I believe Dave Dombrowski came out and said
Said
that
they're done.
they're done, except for there were reports that Nick Castellanos will not be on the Phillies next year.
Well,
Whether it's getting cut or getting traded. But that doesn't make your team better. It makes your defense better, maybe.
I mean, you're getting rid of him, but he was clutch in the playoffs, so.
Yeah, right now you have. If we're taking out Nick Castellanos, it's Brandon Marsh, Otto Kemp, and Adolis Garcia.
Gross.
And Kyle Schwarber as the backup left fielder.
No, he's a DH. Don't even say that. I don't think he owns a glove anymore.
Well, it says Brandon Marsh is playing left and center field, and Otto Kemp and Kyle Schwarber are the backup left fielders. And right field is Adolis Garcia with Nick Castellanos as the backup.
You got to go get at least one outfielder, if not two.
I've seen people say they're
Harrison Bader, go get Miguel Andujar, go get Austin Hayes. I don't care. You got to get at least one of them.
I've seen people say they're going to have Justin Crawford playing the big leagues this year. I don't.
Well, there's your center fielder.
How good was? I mean, he had an 863, a 334 average, with an 863 OPS last year in AAA. So maybe Justin Crawford.
You're not expecting him to be a bat though. Like, he's gonna play really good defense, and you're gonna start him out low in the lineup. Like, you could hit him ninth to be a second leadoff type of guy. Like, that would be okay. But you need another bat in the outfield besides him, I think.
If Justin Crawford's an 800 OPS guy in the big league, he's 863 at AAA. If he's 750 to 800,
yeah, you're fine.
Then okay, sure.
I still think you need one more because you're relying on Adolis Garcia to be an everyday right fielder, and we've seen his highs and we've seen his really, 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 really lows.
Yeah, I think it would be prudent for them to go sign Harrison Bader.
And they also don't like their third baseman, so.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Austin Hayes was a Philly at one point too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
Or maybe he just feels like a Philly. I don't know.
If he wasn't, there was another Hayes that was a Philly at one point.
He got traded for from the Orioles for Sir Anthony Dominguez in 2024. So yeah, bring one of those guys back, and sign Framber. That's what I feel like you need to do.
You need a pitcher, or if you don't like Framber, go get Zach Allen because he's still there, or Chris Bassett, or somebody.
Chris Bassett.
Listen, sure. That's number 3 on the market right now, Kyle. I'm just saying. It could be worse. Your number 5 could be Andrew Painter, and you have no number 6 in case Mr. Thoracic Outlet Syndrome can't play. And that happens a lot.
This is one of those times that I wish they didn't trade Mick Abel. But you also got Johan Duran. You got Johan Duran from him, so you can't hurt that.
Could this be the bold prediction that this is the start of the Phillies' downfall?
We've been thinking that for years.
Could they be the Atlanta of this year if their pitching falls apart like we think it could?
When they had to DH Bryce Harper every week or every day, and they were playing Kyle Schwarber in left and Nick Castellanos in right. That was when the Phillies' downfall was. That's the worst
outfield defense ever.
And they went to the World Series that year.
That's so bad.
So we'll see with that.
Like, go get a third baseman, move Bohm to first, move Harper back to right field.
I'm not against it. He can still do it.
He's
been a really good first baseman, though.
He has, though. I agree.
Edmundo Sosa, there's your third baseman.
Hey, he's been solid for him. And it's a right-handed bat.
Yeah, along with JT, another guy went back to his old his old team. Cody Bellinger went back to the New York
Called
Yankees.
it.
It was a 5-year deal for $162.5 million. The issue that I have with this is, again, this is what the Yankees need to do to get back to where they were last year.
Yep.
Where their outfield is figured out. They are going to have Trent Grisham in left, Cody Bellinger in center, Aaron Judge in right, some outline of that with Giancarlo DHing. Ben Rice will play first, probably platooning with Paul Goldschmidt because there's reports that
No, he's
he might
going
be
to the
going back.
Diamondbacks.
Or platooning with whatever other right-handed first baseman you want, or you let Ben Rice have the
As
first
you
base
probably
at-bats.
should.
I don't know. But you still don't have like half of your back end of the bullpen from last year because you lost Devin Williams and Luke Weaver, and Luke Weaver
They
is
all
like
went
your
to the
only
Mets.
reliable one. I don't know. What do you think about the Yankees right now?
I don't like their third base situation. I don't like their shortstop situation. I don't know. I don't like their bullpen situation. Yeah, I agree. They did a lot to get back to where they were, and I don't think they're back to where they were. You lost your whole bullpen basically, except David Bednar, and he
You
wasn't
brought
very
back
good
Tim
for you.
Hill. You brought back
Doesn't count.
Paul
He's like
Blackburn.
50.
You
Doesn't
brought back
count.
Paul
He's not that
Blackburn. You
good.
brought back Ryan Yarbrough.
No, stop it. No. Smacking you through the screen. Stop. That doesn't count. They're not good.
You brought back Ahmed Rosario.
Shut your mouth. No, I don't know. I think they need help. I think we can have the same conversation about Ryan McMahon that we do about Nolan Arenado. He can't hit the ball. It's not good, but he's a really good defensive third baseman. Is that okay for the Yankees? Because over the years, that's not okay for the Yankees. What are you doing at shortstop? Are we just going to leave Anthony Volpe there and hope that he learns how to hit at some point? I mean, he did only have 1 home run and 3 RBIs less than Kyle Tucker last year, so just throwing that out there.
It was also in like 50 less games, or he got hurt and he was playing through an injury.
It doesn't matter.
But Anthony Volpe is their shortstop till he's not.
I know, but I don't think you can keep running Ryan Howard out there every day if he's not going to hit the ball and just be a black hole. Ryan McMahon. Woo! Blast from the past, baby.
I had to think.
If he played third base, that would be terrifying.
I had to think who you were talking about when you said Ryan
Welcome
Howard.
to St. Louis. No, Ryan McMahon. I don't think you can keep trotting him out there and him being just a black hole in your lineup. Like it's bad. This is a spot where, again, I would love to see Brendan Donovan. Not going to happen, but I think he would be great for this lineup. And so would Jojo Romero in the back of that bullpen.
Yeah.
This is my favorite landing spot for them. I just don't think there's any chance it happens.
Look, you got a decent back end of the bullpen right now.
Do you?
On paper, David Bednar, Camilo Doval. Depending on what you get from Fernando Cruz, maybe.
They imploded last year.
They're good pitchers, though. They're good pitchers, though. And Bednar, I think, was the best of all of them.
He figured it out eventually.
Anthony Volpe is your shortstop till he's not. I think they really like Jose Caballero, but
if you put him at third, I'd rather see Caballero at third than Ryan McMahon.
Go back to our Christmas gifts video and fast forward to the Brewers, because I said that Anthony Volpe is going to be a Brewer in 2027. But this is not 2027.
They could have traded him for Freddie Peralta.
But this is not 2027. This is 2026. And so Anthony Volpe is going to be the Yankee shortstop. I think Ryan McMahon is a serviceable hitter. He just wasn't after the trade last year. And I'm curious if this is a Joey
Kyle
Gallo
really
effect.
likes glove first third basemen who can't hit the ball to save their lives. That's
If
what we
they
have in
have
this episode.
if they have the glove that Ryan McMahon has and that Nolan Arenado has, yes, I do. Um, I
Shortstop,
plus
it's okay. Not at third.
if they have, I'll say if they have the glove that they have and the offensive ability that they have showed throughout their careers, then yes. Even
It's
recently,
also
if you
it's
can be a
also
league
one
average
thing.
hitter, if you can be a league average hitter with that kind of glove, absolutely. And I think
It's
Ryan
also
McMahon,
acceptable if all of your other positions are hitting. But Anthony Volpe doesn't hit. Austin
okay,
Wells doesn't hit.
Jazz does, Aaron Judge does, Trent Grisham does, Cody Bellinger does,
Trent Grisham did
Giancarlo
for
does.
1 year.
It was a really good
You
one
could
year.
potentially have 3 or 4 guys not hitting in that lineup.
I
That's why I'm okay with a soft hitting shortstop or a second baseman, but your third baseman cannot be that as well.
But the thing with Ryan McMahon is I think he had a Yankees effect last year where not a lot of people can pick up midseason and play in Yankee Stadium.
Can he
Especially
play at
when
Yankee Stadium, period?
we'll see this year. I'm not saying Ryan McMahon is the answer at third base for the Yankees. I'm saying he can be, especially with that short porch out there. If
He should be
now
raking there.
if he is a guy that can't play in big markets and can't play at Yankee Stadium where he's getting booed after 2 games, if he's a Joey Gallo, then
You're
okay,
screwed.
sure, he's not the answer. But I think you need a full
We're
season.
talking about the New York Yankees here.
I think
This
you need
isn't
a
a
full
small
season.
market team. Go get someone.
Who are you going to go get? Everyone signed over the past 2 weeks.
That's your own dang fault.
I think they were in on Bo Bichette. They didn't get him.
I don't think they were that in on him.
And they spent prospect capital to get Ryan McMahon. I think they're thinking the same thing that I am. He's a really good player generally. Wasn't
They're
a
thinking
good
it
player
because Hal
at the end
Steinbrenner's
of
gone
last year.
soft and doesn't want to spend money anymore.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't compete buying championships like the Dodgers anymore, so here we are.
I'm just saying I think he can be a good player. I think you need to give him
I think he can be an okay player.
I think you need to give him more time to see if he's for sure a problem. This does give very Yankees last year vibes. The issue that I have is I don't think Yankees last year is good enough to beat the Blue Jays. I don't think Yankees last year might be good enough to beat the Red Sox. At this point, I don't know if Yankees last year is good enough to beat the Orioles if they're healthy and if they're all their young guys are hitting like they should be doing.
I don't think the Yankees make the playoffs with this roster.
I could see it unless they sign or they trade for a big piece at the deadline. I don't know. We'll see. I don't love how the Yankees look right now, but I don't think it's the end of the world.
Yankee fans disagree with you.
Yankees fans, let us know if you disagree. I'm checking the time.
At right Hernando, where you at? Let me know.
And then let's talk about this last trade that just happened today as of recording this. Mackenzie Gore.
It's like, what happened today? Did I miss something?
We kind of forgot that Mackenzie Gore was on the trade block because I don't know if we necessarily thought it was going to end up happening.
I didn't.
And then reports came out today that he got traded to the Texas Rangers.
I thought it was a trade proposal when I saw it on Twitter. And then I looked again and I was like, oh, no, it's not. Send to Kyle.
Yeah, which we sent it to each other at the same time, which
happens a lot.
Yeah. So it was Mackenzie Gore for 4 guys who none of which are in the top 100. It is Gavin Fine, who is now number 5 in Washington system. Alejandro Rosario, who is number 11. Devin Fitzgerald, which it's not Fitzgerald.
Fitz-Gerald.
It is Fitz-Gerald, who is number 12. There's 5 prospects.
Yeah, there's 5.
Yeremy Cabrera, who is now number 17.
And then my favorite.
And Abimelech Ortiz.
Nope. Abimelech
Ortiz.
There you go.
Who is number 24. So 5 top 30 prospects, but none of which are in the top 100.
No. The key in this one is Gavin Fine, for sure. Boston's front office really wanted him when he got drafted, and Texas took him like 2 picks before them. And a lot of Boston scouting and front office has made their way over to Washington. And so this was their guy that they said, hey, we got to go get him. If we're trading with you guys, it's got to be him as the main piece. Which, okay. I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's a big underpayment. I don't think they got quality here. I think they got quantity.
I'm going to get so... People are going to get so mad at me for what I'm about to say.
Do it.
I view this trade on the same level as I do Shane Baz and Ryan Weathers.
Full disclosure, Kyle does not like Mackenzie Gore.
I don't think Mackenzie Gore is an ace. I think he's better than Baz and Weathers, but you're talking about a guy with a
How
4
about
ERA.
Cabrera?
Huh?
How do you compare him to Edward Cabrera?
Similar.
Okay.
I think he's a 2
Which
or...
you're not huge on him either.
I think he's a good 2 or 3, but if you're relying on him to be your 1, which again, the Rangers aren't, so...
No.
They've
got DeGrom. They're fine.
Yeah, they've got DeGrom, they've got Eovaldi.
He's going to be their 3.
But he's the same age as Shane Baz. He's a year older than Ryan Weathers. So he's going into his age 27 season. Another guy who was drafted in that first round in 2017. Another guy who was a former top 100 prospect. Got traded to the Nationals for Juan Soto. And he's been a 4 ERA guy, a 4.2 ERA guy throughout his career. Why are we acting like he's an ace? He pitches a lot of innings, which at least for what we're considering now, and he's got really good stuff, but he's one of these guys that, in my opinion, has been a bunch of tools without a toolbox.
All tools, no toolbox.
Yeah. If the Rangers can find a toolbox for him and can tap into something, he's not old, he's 27, but like, it's kind of like what I said with
Cabrera.
With Cabrera, how long can you rely on projectability? His FIP is a little bit better than his ERA. 4.17 ERA last year to 3.74 FIP. 4.19 ERA to 4.02 FIP.
You're also talking about a guy that's just on a garbage team.
Yeah, and maybe that fixes every problem with Edward Cabrera, and it fixes every problem with Mackenzie Gore. I don't know. I think acting like he's an ace is wild in my mind. I don't hate this trade for either side. I think this is a lot for Mackenzie Gore, but again, no top 100 prospects, and you're bringing him in to be a 2-3 guy, which I think he's a good 2-3 guy.
I think he's the 3.
He might slot ahead of Eovaldi.
I don't think they're putting him ahead of Eovaldi. He's been awesome.
But regardless, I don't hate it for the Rangers. I don't hate it for the Nationals. I don't really have a whole lot of opinions on it for the most part. I don't necessarily think it's an overpay like most people are saying it is, or underpay. They were saying underpay. But let us know what you think.
I think you got to get at least one top 100 prospect, and for them, that would be Texas
Do the Rangers have a top
only
100?
had 2.
Sebastian Walcott?
Well, you're not getting Walcott. He's number 16. They also had right-handed pitcher Caden Scarborough at number 65.
Is this according to your list that
This
you
is
love
Baseball
right
America's top 100 that they just put out.
now? Yeah,
Don't hate on my list.
I'm more of a MLB pipeline guy, but theirs comes out tomorrow.
Which comes out tomorrow night, so we'll see.
Every single prospect ranking that we've talked about might be worthless tomorrow. So love that.
That's true.
But yeah, let us know what you think about this trade. Let us know what you think about all these trades. Whenever it comes to guys like Mackenzie Gore and Edward Cabrera, it's gonna sound like a cop out, but I won't have like a full answer on what I think until I see them pitch for good teams, because they haven't done that. Edward Cabrera's been stuck in Miami for the last 5 years.
With electric stuff.
Mackenzie Gore has been stuck in Washington for the last 3. But pitchers pitch, in my opinion, and 4.2 ERA isn't cutting it if you're considering it as a 2-3, fine. If you're considering it as an ace, calm down.
We need under 3.5 for that, for sure.
Yeah. But let us know what you guys think. Did your team do anything? Did you want your team to do something and they didn't?
Are you a Mets fan and you're ticked off? Or a Brewers fan that is just as angry as we are that they keep selling players off that are only making $8 million?
Or a Dodgers fan that keeps wanting to go into our DMs to this day and talk about how dumb we are for a video that we made in October. There's one of you out there. Get some help. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you guys love what we do, please be sure to subscribe, like what we do, or tolerate what we do, or don't like what we do. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do all the things, stream, download, do all that. Follow us on all of our socials, which you will see in the description if you are on any platform. And please be sure to use code athletes at 10% off at W Energy. That stuff helps us out. It'll help you out too by getting it. I use it as my pre-workout because I don't like pre-workouts, and it gives me the same energy without the crash. So
I was drinking my hydration to get me through this all night long. Grandma's lemonade is fire.
Yeah, so please be sure to do that. Again, it helps us out a ton. And check out tomorrow's episode. Tomorrow we are making our triumphant return with our UFC content. And you will not
special.
And you will not want to miss it because we let Aaron take a lot of creative control on that. And if you guys haven't had a lot of experience with Aaron. Aaron has these moments where he is hilarious.
You're in for a treat, let me tell you.
Yeah. And we also may be recording our reactions, me and Aaron, to UFC 324. And we might be posting that up Sunday or Monday.
Maybe special guest.
Yeah, it'll be with Reggie, who we talked about in our football episodes and in our UFC episodes.
He's our resident Rams fan.
Yeah, resident Rams fan, has wild takes every time he talks about sports.
Yes,
he'll be there too, and we might get him on one of these episodes, but we'll see. But yeah, got a lot of fun stuff coming up. Please be sure to keep up with us and keep watching, because we're not going anywhere and we're going to continue to say dumb things. And you guys are too, and we love it. You're pointing the wrong direction.
No, I'm not.
See you guys next time. According to me, you are.
See ya.